You ever notice how toxic people can smell fear from like a mile away? It's wild. You could be having a perfectly normal day, and then boom, they show up with their drama. And somehow you're the one apologizing for existing. I spent 3 years dealing with someone who made me feel guilty for literally breathing wrong. Every text was a guilt trip, every conversation was a minefield. And I kept thinking if I just explained myself better, if I was just nicer, if I tried harder, maybe they'd stop. Spoiler alert, they didn't. But here's the thing nobody tells you. The reason toxic people keep showing up in your life isn't because you're unlucky or because you're too nice. It's because you're doing one specific thing that basically puts a neon sign over your head that says, "Come, drain my energy. I'm open for business." And once you stop doing this thing just once, everything flips. They either disappear completely or they suddenly start acting like normal human beings. What? Yeah, I was shocked too. So let me show you exactly what you're doing wrong and how to fix it starting right now. Here's what's happening. Every time someone treats you badly, you react. And I don't mean like you punch them or yell at them. I mean your face changes. Your voice gets that weird, shaky thing. You start explaining yourself. You defend your choices. You try to prove you're not the bad guy. And that reaction, that tiny little response, is exactly what they want. Think about it like this. I had this person in my life who would text me passive aggressive stuff at like 11 p.m. Classic move. And every single time, I'd spend the next hour writing and deleting paragraphs trying to explain myself. My heart rate would go up. I'd lose sleep. I'd screenshot the messages and send them to 5 different friends. Like, am I crazy or is this weird? Meanwhile, they're probably already asleep, having accomplished their mission, which was to live rent free in my head for the night. Psychologists call this getting supply. Toxic people literally feed on your emotional reactions. It's like food to them. Your stress is their entertainment. Your anxiety proves they have power over you. Every time you react, you are training them that, hey, this works. Keep doing it. So here's the simple thing you're going to do once, just once, and watch what happens. Next time someone says something toxic to you, something that would normally make you want to defend yourself or explain or prove them wrong, you're going to do absolutely nothing. Not like ignore them in an obvious way, not like give them the silent treatment where you're clearly mad. I mean, you're going to respond with the most boring, neutral, energy-less response possible. They say something mean. You say, okay, that's it. Not okay, exclamation point. Not okay, question mark. Just okay, period. They try to start drama. You say, got it. They send a passive-aggressive text. You say, thanks for letting me know. Your voice stays flat. Your face stays calm. You don't give them anything to work with. It's like watching someone try to start a fire with wet wood. They're striking the match over and over, and nothing's catching. Here's what happens next, and this is the beautiful part. Their brain short circuits. Because toxic people are used to getting reactions. That's the whole game. When you don't react, they don't know what to do. It's like their programming breaks. Most of the time, they'll try harder at first. They'll say something even more outrageous to try to get you to break. This is the test. If you can stay boring through that second attempt, they give up. Because you're not fun anymore. You're not giving them what they need. I tried this with that person I mentioned earlier, the 11 p.m. texter. They sent me one of their classic guilt trip messages, and instead of writing a novel back, I just wrote K. Not even okay, just the letter K. Radio silence from me after that. And you know what happened? Nothing. They didn't blow up my phone. They didn't escalate. They just stopped. It was like I broke the spell by refusing to play the game. A week later, they texted me something completely normal, like nothing had happened. And here's what I learned. They didn't suddenly become a better person. They just realized I wasn't going to give them the reaction they wanted anymore. So they moved on to someone else who would. Dark, but true. The psychology behind this is actually fascinating. Your brain has this thing called the fight or flight response. When someone attacks you verbally or emotionally, your body thinks you're in danger. Your heart rate goes up. Cortisol floods your system. You go into defense mode, and that's when you make the mistake of engaging because you think you're protecting yourself. But here's the plot twist. You're not in actual danger. You're just in a conversation with someone who wants attention. When you remove the emotional reaction, you remove their power. It's like playing chess with someone who keeps flipping the board. At some point, you realize the only winning move is to stop playing. Now, let's talk about why this is so hard to actually do. Because I can sit here and tell you, just don't react, and you're probably thinking, yeah, duh, I know that. But in the moment, when someone says that thing that hits your nerve, your brain goes haywire. You want to defend yourself. You want them to understand. You want to win the argument. That's normal. That's human. The trick is recognizing that feeling and choosing to be boring anyway. Here's what helped me. I started thinking of toxic people like toddlers throwing tantrums. Stay with me here. When a 2-year-old screams because you won't give them candy, what do? You don't get down on the floor and debate them about nutrition. You don't write them an essay about why candy before dinner is bad. You just stay calm and say no thanks. We're not doing that right now. Same energy. When someone tries to drag you into drama, you're not ignoring them. You're just refusing to participate in the chaos. You're the adult in the room who's not going to reward bad behavior with attention. Let me give you the exact formula because I know you're going to need this when the moment comes. Someone says something toxic. You feel that surge of emotion. That's your cue. Pause. Count to 3 in your head. 1, 2, 3. This stops you from responding on autopilot. Then you pick one of these responses. Okay, got it. Thanks for sharing. I hear you. That's one perspective. Cool. That's it. Nothing more. Your tone is neutral. Imagine you're reading ingredients off a cereal box. 0 emotion. 0 engagement. Then you change the subject or exit the conversation. And here's the most important part. You do not explain yourself. You do not justify. You do not say actually, or to be fair, or I just think. Those phrases are invitations to keep the fight going. The power is in being so unbothered that they have nothing to push against. It's like trying to punch a cloud. There's nothing solid to hit. Here's what I wish someone had told me years ago. You're not being mean by doing this. You're not being cold or rude or passive aggressive. You're setting a boundary without announcing it. You're teaching people how to treat you through your actions, not your words. Because let's be honest, telling a toxic person, hey, you're being toxic, please stop, has never worked in the history of ever. They'll just gaslight you and make you feel crazy for bringing it up. But when you remove your reaction, you remove their fuel. They either adapt and treat you better because they want access to you, or they disappear because you're no longer useful to them. Either way, you win. Your peace is the priority here, not fixing them, not making them understand, not being the bigger person, just protecting your energy like it's the most valuable thing you own because it is. Now, I know what you're thinking. What about people who really do need me to react? What if it's someone I care about and they're genuinely upset? Good question. Here's the difference. People who actually care about you and are having a hard time will communicate directly. They'll say, I'm struggling, or I need support, or can we talk? They won't try to manipulate you with guilt or passive aggression or drama. They won't make you feel crazy. Toxic people speak in riddles and insinuations. They want you to chase them and decode their feelings and prove you care. Healthy people just tell you what's wrong. So if you try this boring response technique with someone and they come back later with, hey, I noticed you seemed distant. Is everything okay? That's a green flag. That's someone who wants real communication. You can have an actual conversation with them. But the person who escalates when you don't react, the one who gets mad that you're not feeding into the drama, that's the toxic one. And they just showed you exactly who they are. Believe them. So here's your homework. And yes, I'm calling it that because it's that important. Pick one person in your life who consistently drains your energy, just one. The next time they try their usual nonsense, use the boring response technique. One neutral sentence, no explanation. Then move on with your day. Do not break. Do not engage. Do not explain. Just watch what happens. I'm telling you from experience, it's going to feel weird at first. You're going to want to fill the silence. You're going to worry they think you're mad. Resist that urge. Let it be boring. Let them wonder. Let them realize that you're not the person they can mess with anymore without consequences. And the consequence isn't you fighting back. It's you not caring enough to fight at all. That's what makes toxic people disappear. Not because you pushed them away, because you stopped pulling them close with your reactions. The truth is, most of us spend so much energy managing other people's emotions that we forget we're allowed to just exist without drama. You're allowed to be boring. You're allowed to not have a reaction to everything. You're allowed to protect your peace, even if it makes someone else uncomfortable, especially if it makes someone else uncomfortable. Because here's what nobody tells you: the people who get mad when you set boundaries are the exact people who are benefiting from you not having any. So, yeah, they're going to be upset when you stop playing their game. Let them be upset. That's not your problem anymore. Your problem for too long has been caring too much about people who don't care about you at all. And that changes today, right now, with this one simple choice to just be boring when someone tries to start something. Watch how fast your life gets peaceful when you stop handing out free reactions to people who don't deserve them. Here at Psychleapsess, we don't just talk about psychology, we make it make sense. If this hit home for you, do me a favor and subscribe, because next week I'm breaking down why you keep attracting the same type of person over and over, and how to finally break that pattern. Trust me, you're going to want to see that one. Your future self is already thanking you for watching this. Now go practice being the most boring person alive to someone who deserves it. You've got this.